Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're standing outside the shed in Port Townsend, where Tally Ho was. It's a big-time boat building community here, and we're going to go inside and talk to some people about what it's like to become a shipwright. So anyway, stay with us. This is going to be an interesting video. We're going to talk about what it's like to be starting out as a shipwright.
Well, my name is Robert. I grew up in New England. I came from a boat building family on the East Coast. 4 generations, I believe, of boat builders. Seems to have stuck with the family. It's probably in my genes, I guess. I'm a sailor. I operate the sailing vessel Martha, and I run a business called Robert Darcy Marine Services, which primarily focuses on classic yacht restoration and project management. And right now we're on board the sailing yacht Latifa. It's a William Fife 1936 design. And she's in Port Townsend for a refit, and we're putting a new deck overlay, systems, some rigging work, some spar work, and the general needs, maintenance needs of a vessel that was built in 1936. That's been doing some serious voyaging.
Hey, cool. So if I was a youngster right out of, let's say, high school, and I wanted to get into this kind of trade, how would I start out? Do I need formal training, or is there entry-level positions just kind of being a grunt around a shop, or what exactly?
Well, there's various ways. One of them you mentioned, there is formal training. If someone knew they wanted to become a boatwright or work in the marine trades, they would, of course, maybe go to the boat school or look for other type of education programs. There is one down at the Maritime Center in which young high school kids learn to work around boats. The other way is, if someone's interested, is just to get involved in the along the shore. People would get involved with maybe the Port Townsend Sailing Association and start sailing on boats and working on them. Another way is to approach the trades like myself. In fact, there's a gentleman right here who contacted me several weeks ago, indicated he was interested in working on boats. Today we met to discuss his work history and what he's looking for, and we employed him today to start working on this project. He's interested in getting involved with the marine trades on various ways. And when we say marine trades, it's not just working on a wooden boat. You might be a sailmaker or a rigger. You could be a systems person. It could be a steel boat, or it could be an aluminum boat or a fiberglass boat. It's all part of the marine trades.
Okay. All right. So what kind of aptitude or attitude does somebody need to excel in this kind of
trade?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because it would be the same attitude and aptitude really for any job. The willingness to have some skin in the game, to apply yourself, to understand, to be willing to understand, to be open to learn the trade. If you're not good with tools, or you haven't had a chance to work with tools, you need to be willing to learn those things. You need to, first off, show up to work on time and have a team spirit, that you're willing to work with the team to get work done. And then some people have a natural aptitude towards work with hand tools or power tools. Other people tend to navigate towards something like systems or electronics. Other people would find an interest in sailmaking. And so once you start to develop your desires and your aptitude, then you get directed in that direction.
Okay. And is there plenty of work in this arena for a good tradesman?
Well, there is. Yeah, in fact, good tradespeople are hard to find anymore. There seems to be a shortage of good technicians, whether it's woodworking or electronics or engine work. The world is nutted and bolted together, and there's a lot of great ideas and a lot of code writers, and there's a lot of computerization and things like that. But at the end of the day, someone needs to bolt and screw and finish and do all the things that need to be done to build something like this and to make it function.
Okay. And of course, you got to be willing to do pretty much any job that needs doing.
Yeah, there's some jobs are not as attractive as others, of course, and that's part of the attitude. Life is a lot of hard work, but life is worth it. And just like a job, there are things about this job. When I say this job, I mean this kind of business that I absolutely love, and there are aspects of it I do not. But as a whole, I really enjoy this kind of work, and I find it rewarding. But there are aspects of it that I would rather not do, but they have to be done.
Are you guys getting enough young people into this trade to keep it sustainable? Or is it like a lot of the other trades where the average age is in the 50s?
Both of those. We're starting to see a resurgence of young people wanting to come into the trades. And I think the spell has been broken that the only way to succeed in the world is to go to college and become a code writer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are tired of working in little cubicles. They want hands-on experiences. They want to work. And the marine trades allows that. Not only will you be working on wooden boats and construction and things of that nature, you also may become a sailor. You might find that not only do you have a love for building and maintaining wooden boats, so maybe you like to sail them as well. And then, of course, that's the lure of adventure. That's important.
Okay. So, as a starting out person, what would I be able to? Will I be able to make a living starting out, or is it going to take a while before I get into?
No, I think you can make a living. I mean, if you're a young person, you're just coming out of high school, maybe you're 17 or 18 years old. Your financial needs are going to be different than someone who's 35 and is raising a family, of course.
Yeah.
But I think if starting out, depending on your work experience and your age, you might be starting at $17 or $18 an hour. If you're competent and you have a great work attitude, and you're kind of used to using basic tools and working with people, you'd probably be around $20 an hour starting. If you're very competent and you've been in the business for quite a few years, let's say you've been doing this for 5 years and you've worked your way up and you know how to measure properly and cut wood exactly and to work as a team with a group, and you understand how to put things together fairly well, you'll be making in the 30s. There's independents who run their own company who are making anywhere from $50 to $60, $65 an hour. If you're working for a company as a team and you're well skilled, you've been doing this for quite a while, you're making $35 an hour, something like that.
Okay. So if somebody's well skilled, they've been doing it for a while, are they like kind of working freelance and moving around on project and project for different companies that are doing a boat, or how does that work?
It depends. It's so different. There are people who we call them tailgaters. They're freelance. They're kind of independent contractors who work for themselves, and they'll pick up jobs as they can. And sometimes those people will be hired by a bigger company who have a big project that comes in. In fact, some of our people are subcontractors here because we have a real big job that came. We have to swell our workforce really quickly, so we hire subcontractors. So that would be the tailgater or the independent contractor. Some people would rather work for a company, so they might go to work with us, or they might go to work with the shipwrights over at Port Townsend Shipwright, so they might work over Haven, and it's a bigger company that you tend to be employed for long term. But you'll be working on different projects throughout that term.
Okay. All right. And then progression of the job. How long before somebody that's eager can be proficient and move towards the higher wages?
Well, it really varies on the individual's aptitude and skill level, their attitude. Some people, it's amazing how quickly they pick things up. And some of that has to do with their upbringing, of course, their experiences as they move. But I think if you apply yourself, you can actually move up pretty quickly. I think someone who is dependable and you can rely on and has a pretty good aptitude for picking things up, Many of the things that are technical we can teach young people. What we can't teach is how to have a good attitude about being on time and being part of the job. If you're on the job day to day and you're thinking about the movie you saw last week and you want to talk to your friends on the phone and you can't get off your iPhone, you're not going to move up very quickly. But if you come to work and while you're at work, you're considering the job, what the job needs, and if you're plugging yourself in and you're productive, you move up quite quickly because you're valuable.
Okay. So this generation's, you get people that are interested in their phones, and the old generations, you got people that all they cared about was getting off work and going to the bar every night.
Yeah, some people, you know,
yeah.
but throughout every generation, there are people who are well plugged in and understand how it works.
Yeah.
It's all about a fair and equitable exchange. We're willing to give of our time in our craft, and we get paid. Now, we're fortunate when that craft that you enjoy is rewarding to you. For me, I really love it when a project like this comes in and we're able to repair the needs of the vessel and we hit the marks that the owner's asking for, and the people working on the project have had a great experience, and we watch her sail away. That's a beautiful thing. That's successful.
Yeah. And, people get to see, I worked on that boat. They get to come around generations later with their grandkids and can talk about how they worked on it. It's something tangible.
Something real.
Yeah, something real.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add to what we've already talked about as far as encouraging young people to consider this?
Well, whether they want to go into the marine trades or any other field, one way to be successful in life is to apply yourself. Be focused, be present in the situation, and then you'll find that life will work out just the way it's supposed to.
Okay. All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this boat and what's going on with it and what the extent of the refurbishment or refit? And did you guys do all the work to strip this boat down to get it in this shed?
Yes. Well, yeah. There's various trades involved. Brian Toss riggers downrigged the boat, which means take the masts out and take the rigging off. And then the Port Townsend used their lift to bring her in here. And then we set about planning and executing the refit. Now her name's Latifah. She was designed by William Fife, built in 1936 in Farleigh, Scotland.
Scotland, let's go.
And she's been a well-maintained and loved yacht for many, many years. And she's approaching age, what's she, 83? So she's an aged yacht. And she's also well-sailed. I mean, she's been voyaging the Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Pacific. She's just finished a 3-year stint in the Caribbean and into the South Pacific. And so Kent, the owner, knew she needed a refit or reset, so to speak. Any vessel that's been at sea voyaging and whatnot is going to need maintenance. And at the same time, she's becoming aged, so it's time for a new deck. So we're doing a teak deck systems overlay on this teak deck. And she's going to have some systems renewed and some maintenance done on her rig, her masts, sails. And then when we're finished, which will be sometime coming July, she'll be launched and re-rigged, and she'll probably do another 3 or 4 years of ocean sailing, and then she'll get another refit of some sort.
Okay. So the house here is original? It's just been stripped?
Yes, the house is original and stripped. Most of the deck furniture you're seeing is original.
Okay. So when you say an overlay, that means you've taken off part of the deck and you're going to put a new deck on top of the substructure.
Yeah, this is a solid teak deck. It's part of an original deck that was put on that got rehabbed in Italy many years ago. They put an overlay on it, and that overlay had worn out. So now we're going to be doing a new overlay, and that'll be produced by Teak Deck Systems, but we'll install it sometime in late March.
And it'll be basically the thickness?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit thicker than that. The cover boards, which is that outside plank, those are varnished, so they don't wear. But the deck, a raw wood teak deck, is beautiful to look at. It also offers incredibly good footing, even when it's wet. You don't slip and slide. And so, classic yachts have raw teak decks because they're attractive and traditional, and they offer good footing.
And they patina out to a nice gray color.
Yeah, they do, but they wear a little bit over time. So the cost of having a raw wood deck is over time it wears away
Yeah.
and becomes thinner and thinner. And so we're going to be putting a deck on that's thicker than the cover board because over time it'll wear down and eventually be the same height as the cover board. And then someday in the distant future, maybe 30, 35 years, it'll be worn down and it'll need another overlay.
So it's going up to the curbs, not under them.
Yeah, it goes up to the curbs and everything gets caulked around.
Yeah.
And yeah.
With the classic black
It'll be a black seam compound.
Yeah.
It's a rubber. Yeah.
sanded down smooth.
Yep, all sanded smooth.
All right. Oh, cool. All right.
Patrick, would you mind being interviewed? I know you're kind of camera shy.
Since I know you didn't start out in the boat business, you were like pottery or something? Yeah? I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Patrick Kingshill. I work here on this. I'm working here on this boat, Latifa, for Robert Darcy.
So you're a shipwright.
I'm a
Getting there.
boat builder.
You're
Yeah,
getting there. Okay. So
do boat work.
you didn't start out as a boat builder and you didn't have any formal training as a boat builder, right?
No, nope.
So what made you decide to go this route?
2020 there was a lapse in my professional life when the COVID-19 pandemic happened, and I was in the market for some kind of woodworking apprenticeship type of thing, and I ended up emailing one of my favorite YouTubers who had a backyard boat building project that was really cool, and so I just emailed. I just knew about this project from watching it online, and then emailed the guy who was running it, and he had me out working for him, and I worked during the course of the pandemic, which was a couple of years, and just had a really good time and stayed on for several years after that, and now I've established myself in Port Townsend here, which is kind of a wooden boat mecca in the world of boat building and such things, and have found other work.
So
it's cool.
So what was the most challenging thing about getting into this that somebody should consider that you felt?
The most challenging thing? Well, I mean, on a macro scale, it's like, I think one thing that I benefited from was just being able to like completely derail my life and take a huge step into another world and have like a whole new level of just a whole new background of life and everything, of like new town, new working environment, just everything sort of changed. And I think I think that's probably true for a lot of new fields if you're trying to get into a new occupation, but definitely in boat building, there's so many weird jobs, such a diverse level of skills that you have to acquire. So yeah, you really have to be like open to a lot of change. And then other challenges are, I think, sort of like the there's a lot of physical challenges. It's a really physically intense working environment. There's a lot of health risks involved with several different types of dusts and vapors that you find in these old boats. So I don't know. There's a lot of different challenges.
So you got to be prepared for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what's the most exciting part of being in this business?
Well, so far I've found that with every boat project, there's always, or I should say there usually is like a finite moment where all the work is done and you can launch the boat and the boat's in the water and it's doing its thing that you've been working so hard to make it do for that long. And there's rarely that much satisfaction you could get out of so much work in seeing the thing float off and live its life as it was meant to be. It's pretty rewarding.
Okay, and then, so you didn't know how to sail before you started out here, did you?
No,
So you've learned how to sail, and
Uh-huh.
I understand you've also done some deliveries.
Yeah,
So that's another side of this business, and
yeah, yeah.
And what's that like?
It's just been a huge, it's like a giant cornucopia of knowledge and a lifestyle that I didn't even know existed nor was available to me. But it's been something that has really kind of made me wonder, like, wow, what else is out there for anyone to do, really, to like what other challenges or things in life can you just get by hard work and by sticking to something.
Yeah, and establishing relationships with people that
Yeah.
might open doors.
Yeah. So
Okay.
sailing has been really rewarding in that.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll do it from Port Townsend here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.